guys of the NFL Trap podcast. I'm here with Kurt.
Hey,
How you going, Kurt?
yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not feeling too well, but the show must go on.
The show must go on.
Yeah, so just a quick rundown for what we're doing. It's going to be a relatively short podcast just because I'm a bit ill, so we'll just run through the scores from this week's preseason. Kurt's going to give us some analysis about them, and then we're just going to move into our predictions for next week. How does that sound, Kurt?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, man. Let's try and keep it short and sweet.
All right, sweet. So we're going to start off with the Pats Eagles. The Pats ran away with that 37-20 winners. Kurt, what did you have to say about that game?
Yeah, it was a really good game. Brady came out and just absolutely shredded the Eagles secondary at the start.
Yeah,
Again, the Eagles didn't play Wentz, which I'm really happy about. I don't want to see him before week one at all. Um, but yeah, it was really interesting to see like a replay of Super Bowl 52, and once the while the first stringers were on the field, it still seemed like the Pats were the better team. So it'll be
yeah.
interesting
Well,
to see moving forward.
this Nate Satfield dude threw 22 for 39 for 312.
Yeah, Sudfield, like the third string quarterback, is
Pretty
really good. So I mean, at the end of the year
much.
when Foles is off contract, I think it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, no, that's a really. Oh, I'm just looking at the stats now. Brady threw all right.
Yeah,
So yeah, all right, sweet. And then we'll move on to. It was I believe it was the Bengals. No, it wasn't. It was the Redskins and Jets.
Redskins
With
and
the
Jets.
Redskins coming up 2-point winners.
Yeah.
15-13.
So this was a bit of an interesting game. With the punch up that happened earlier in the week at training camp,
Yep.
you could tell that there was tension between the two teams. The first couple of hits were brutal, and they were not holding back. Um, there wasn't much to talk about in this game. It was pretty mediocre, but Sam Darnold is still progressing. I expect him to, if not be the starter at least halfway through the season, that he should be there as the second string. Like, unfortunately for Teddy, even though he's playing brilliantly, Darnold is
Yeah,
looking
well,
really good.
yeah, I did read recently. I think it was this morning that the Jets are already looking to trade um Bridgewater. So I think he's been linked to the Broncos, Bucks, and I cannot remember the third team.
Yeah,
There was a third team.
it'll be interesting
But
to see where he goes because there's a lot of teams out there that still need a good second QB. I mean, there's teams out there that could Teddy would probably slot into the starting role even.
no, well, the only team I can really think of is the Broncos because who's their starting quarterback?
Case Keenum.
Season. Oh, Keenum, yeah, he's not that great. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'd still play Keenum. Like he looked pretty good in the game this week anyway. But
oh, okay, sweet. So yeah, so the Redskins go to 1-1. Alex Smith played the first quarter, I think, or first quarter and a
yeah,
bit.
first quarter.
Yeah, I remember watching a bit of that game. Then we go on to the Packers Steelers. This was a high scoring affair with
Yeah,
the Packers taking the win 51-34.
it was definitely a runaway game. It was high scoring and it was a bit of a shootout at the beginning. Um, Aaron Rodgers was doing Aaron Rodgers things, like when he just decides to throw the ball 60 yards, he's gonna do it. So it looks like that shoulder injury is not going to be an issue going forward. Um, him and Jimmy Graham had really good um, connections, especially in the red
Yeah.
zone. So it looks like he's got another big body target to throw to there.
Well,
Um,
that's all Aaron Rodgers really needs. All right, another great set of hands he can throw to.
exactly. The secondary looked really good against the run for this. Sorry, against the pass for this
Yep.
Packers, but against the run it was exposed really badly. The Steelers' run game was really good, even without Le'Veon Bell, which is terrifying. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Just can you imagine when he comes back?
yeah, and having like
It's
if they have
gonna
a good
be a
rotation
scary
through
thought.
that, it's gonna be deadly. Um,
Very, very scary thought.
and we
Yeah.
started to
So
see Mason Rudolph play in that game, and I mean,
yep.
he looks like how he should. He's gonna be a project. I think he's gonna need another year at least, sitting on the bench and learning. He looks like he was. It was just a bit fast for him out there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, he can make all the throws and stuff. It's just he'll need some time to adapt to the faster pace.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. Again, I think these both teams are great teams, but I think we can lock them in for the playoffs anyway.
Yeah,
I think that's why I'm not too concerned about what happens during the preseason for the better teams like the Patriots, Packers, Steelers, because you almost know that it's a guarantee for them
yep.
to at least make the wild card. So yeah, so we'll move on to the Falcons Chiefs. This was a really interesting turn of events with the Chiefs taking it out 28-14.
Yeah, it was definitely an
Yeah,
interesting game. It started off like absolute lightning when the first stringers were on. Matty
yeah,
Ryan just kept throwing it to Calvin Ridley, and those targets were on point. Um, it looks like the Falcons' first string offense is going to be something that's going to test even the best defenses in the league. Um,
yeah,
that pass game is just going to shred anyone, and they can pick up
yeah.
yardages at a whim.
And what did you think about the Chiefs? All right, or
The Chiefs were alright. I have my concerns about Mahomes still. He looks
yeah,
like he's where Trubisky is, which isn't, that's not saying a lot. Um,
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I didn't see him go deep nearly enough, especially when you've got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce on that team. There was a lot of slants, a lot of screens to hunt, a lot of just dropping out of the pocket way too early.
well,
Um,
they run a lot of slants play, don't they? The Chiefs.
yeah, I mean, like they did even with Alex Smith, but Alex Smith would, throw that deep ball if Hill got open, but they just never did.
Well, yeah. Well, so it'll be interesting to see the Chiefs looking forward because I do remember they ran a lot of slants,
Mm.
and and I think they used I think they threw a lot of the from the nickel action as well.
Mhm.
I'm not too sure. I can't really remember from
Yeah,
last season. I didn't really watch the Chiefs, so
but it'll be interesting going
uh,
forward to see how they actually stack up this year. Because I mean, when you trade away Alex Smith, you know that you're going to have a 9-win season. You know you're going to get to the playoffs. So
100%. And then we move on to another really good game. I did watch the highlights for, and that was the New York Giants taking down the Detroit Lions 30-17.
yeah, it was an interesting game. We didn't see Eli come out. We didn't see Barkley. So
No, yeah, I think this was just another game where I think it's just a New York thing, just experimenting with
yeah,
everything,
and I mean
and I think
their passes look good. I mean, even with Webb under center, that wide receiver core was doing really good things. They were making space. The throws were good. Um,
yeah,
which is worrying for Detroit's starting secondary. If you're getting torched by Webb, and there's no OBJ on that field, then what's going to happen if they run into that?
well, I think for me, I just think it's just I don't know if Detroit's offense is potent enough to just. It just looks from the scoreboard that they just found it really difficult to score in the early parts, and
Yeah,
I think that might translate into the regular season because I know they last season they had trouble scoring in the first half,
yeah. It looks like
and
they've got a lot of issues on their O line. It's just not giving.
yeah, they're
Um,
not helping Matt Stafford at all, are
yeah,
they?
no, like he's
The
got no time
Lions.
to throw. He's got no running game. Because they just can't open up the lines for their running backs. There's a lot of dump
Yeah,
and runs, a lot of inside slants. Um,
yeah, it's just a mess at the moment. This Lions offense.
yeah.
And I feel bad for Stafford because I say this every week. He's the most underrated quarterback in the league by far.
Oh, by far, yeah.
I think, along with Kirk Cousins, I think they're championship winning quarterbacks, but they're just not been given the necessary help from their O line, from their receivers. It's just a massive mess, and I don't know if Stafford's going to stay there for much longer. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see him staying there. He has the potential to be one of the best QBs in the league. He just hasn't had the team to do it with yet.
Yeah, so is he franchise tagged? Do we know?
I don't believe he's franchise tagged, but I don't think he's off contract anytime soon.
Oh, okay. He must have just recently re-signed.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Okay, and then we go to the next game, which what you thought was a really good game, wasn't it? The Bills Browns.
Yeah, Bills Browns. I thought it was a really
Yeah,
fun game to watch. The
yeah.
two rookie
And the Bills
QBs.
taking that out 19-17. So
Yeah, and I really like the look of Josh Allen. He is reminding me of what I saw in a rookie Carson Wentz. Um,
Ooh,
Lots of good mobility in the pocket. He's got a gun for an arm. Like that thing is a cannon. Um,
yeah,
he's still got the accuracy issues that we knew he had coming out of college, but once he starts to tighten that up and starts making better reads and stops forcing passes that he shouldn't be, he has the
yeah.
potential to play the same way that Wentz is. Um,
He reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers a bit. You know, the rocket arm, but
mm.
also is a great scrambler
Yeah, he plays
as
so well
well.
out of the pocket.
Yeah, so he can scramble really well. Like just looking at it, he had 3 carries for 18 yards. You know, that's quite decent for a quarterback of his size.
Yeah.
So, also, how did Baker go? Looking at his stats, 7 for 30 for 75.
Um, it wasn't the
Mm,
best performance from Baker. I liked what I saw more last week, but he's
yeah,
doing well. I think Tyrod's undoubtedly the starter.
you believe so?
I think Tyrod has to be the starter for the Browns. I think Baker's good, but Tyrod's just you know what you're getting with him.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah, no, I agree. I just think maybe for a season get Baker just to be watching just learning, trying to absorb as much as he can from the pros. You know, because we did have that. He did have that maturity issues back in at Oklahoma. So,
for sure, yeah.
um,
But
I'm,
another brilliant
he's the
thing,
number one pick. He's the number one pick for a reason. So, I can only, he had a great season, last for Oklahoma, and I don't know. I think he might start week 1.
I hope he doesn't for his sake. But I mean, they've got a brilliant running game. Carlos Hyde just absolutely torched the Bills' defense. Like he got
Yeah,
the ball and he ran for like 20 yards every carry. It was
yeah, no, he's I think he was from the where did he come from? 49ers?
yeah.
Yeah, the 49ers. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that was a really fun game to watch. If anyone hasn't seen the highlights for it, I'd suggest you guys go and check it out. It's a fun game.
Then we move on to the Panthers Dolphins, and the Panthers take that one out 27-20.
Yeah, this was the opposite of a fun game to watch. This was super ugly. Um,
Okay.
it looked like McCaffrey has developed as a running back, and he has the ability to do a bit of Le'Veon Bell stuff. He's a bit more patient in his running game and looking for holes to open up. He's
Mhm.
still that edge speed man that he's always going to be. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Cam is Cam. He had a bad day out.
Yeah.
He threw like I think he threw 2 picks. I'm not sure. I don't have the stats up.
I'll just have a quick look. I threw 1-1. He threw.
1-1. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it wasn't scintillating stuff from Cam. Especially against
But you kind of
Miami.
expect that from him, though, right?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
either really on or he's really off. Like,
Yeah. And it's against
but
Miami. I think Miami is going to be a dumpster fire this season. So like, it's not.
well, the goat Brock Osweiler threw 10 for 13.
He did. But speaking about Miami QBs, Tannehill looks really good. I understand why Miami
Yes.
have so much faith in him. Especially with Amendola there. They're going to have a good passing offense. I didn't see them
Yeah.
do much on the ground because their O line just collapsed constantly against that
Yeah.
Carolina
Well,
rush.
it's been bad for a couple years now. Miami's I think it's a rebuild stage where they just need to sign young talent,
Yeah,
and I don't know. Yeah, Miami is like one of those really questionable teams. I think
for
I
sure.
don't know how they'll do. So anyway, yeah, the Panthers take that one out. We move on to the Cardinals Saints, and surprisingly, the Cardinals took that one 20-15.
They did. It was interesting. The first half, I think it was, went to the
Yeah.
Saints. No, actually went to the Cardinals.
Uh,
Ended the second.
yeah,
Um,
the Cardinals were up 17-3 at the end of the first half.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Saints didn't start Breeze. They started like 3 starters on their offense, so they didn't really do much. It is
Yeah.
worrying seeing what they have as their backup QBs. It's not anything that's promising. So if Breeze goes down at any point in
Yeah.
the season, I think it might be over for the Saints. The Cardinals, on the other hand, Bradford does what Bradford does. If he can stay healthy, he's one of the best QBs in the league. He
Josh
just is.
Rosen, how did you really think about Josh Rosen?
I liked what I saw out of Rosen more. He's
Yeah.
got his
Yeah.
quick reads. He's got that good arm. He's accurate. If he can just get a bit more mobile in the pocket and stop forcing passes that he knows he shouldn't be,
Yeah.
he'll
Yeah.
definitely turn into
I
a
think
better
they'll
player.
just come with a maturity thing and with time. Threw for 106 yards, threw a touchdown. So Um, I think Bradford will start.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Um, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think the Cardinals have enough faith to put Rosen into the as a starting quarterback.
Yep.
So I think Bradford will start.
Yep.
As you said before, if Bradford's healthy, he's one of the best. So yeah, that'll be an interesting to see again. But he's always had issues with injuries.
Yeah.
So ever since he left the Eagles. So well, even when he was at the Eagles, actually,
Even
I
then,
think he
yeah.
had a couple. I think he had a couple injuries when he was with you guys, right?
Yeah, he did. I don't think he's. I don't think he's ever played a full season. I'd have to double check
Oh,
that,
okay.
but I don't think he has.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. So you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the Cars, see what they do
Mm.
now that Palmer's gone and they need a new franchise quarterback.
Yeah, David Johnson looks amazing as usual. Like again, if the Cards can stay healthy, they've got a chance to sneak a wild card spot.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Again, yeah. Cardinals is one of those things. They need to be healthy.
Yep.
If they're not healthy, they're not good.
Yeah, they just don't have enough
So
depth.
yeah, they have yeah, as you said, they're very very shallow. So we'll move on to the Vikings Jags.
Yep.
And the Jags take this one 14 points to 10.
They did, yeah. It was a bit of an interesting game. Neither team really trotted out their best games. Blake Bortles
Yeah.
did Blake Bortles things. Like sometimes he's just throwing picks that should never be
Uh-huh.
thrown, and other times he's throwing absolute darts into the end zone.
Oh yeah, threw 12 for 20 for 159, no touchdowns though.
Yeah.
Through an intercept.
Um,
So that's such a Blake Bortles stat line.
yeah, it is. He's on fire one week. It's like a Cam situation.
Yeah,
To me, he's a limiting factor on this team because their run game is disgusting. Their defense is good.
The interesting thing I did see here is Kirk Cousins threw 3 for 8 for only 12 yards.
Yeah.
So
I think he had a couple incompletions and then just got turned back on a. They lost some yardage.
I don't know. I said that going in when he first signed the Vikings. I think I was talking to you or possibly Greg. I said he doesn't like playing in the cold. So why would he go and play for Minnesota if he can't play in the cold?
I think the truckload of money had something to do with that.
Oh yeah, well in this day of age, we're just gonna follow where the money is. So.
Yeah. But yeah, their offense looks like it's in good hands. Like the system looks fine.
Oh yeah, no, I think Minnesota's one of those safe teams. You can sort of rely on them to be at least an 8-8 team at
sure.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
So the Jags again, I think they're one of the strongest teams in the entire NFL. So I think I have them in my Super Bowl.
I think you do, yeah.
I think I did. I think I don't think that I had them winning, but I think I had them in my Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. The Jags. I think I just like the sound of the Jacksonville. That just.
Yeah, who doesn't love good old Saxonville?
Well, that's what they've been dubbed that by you. So.
Indeed.
So we'll move on to the Rams and the Raiders, with the Rams taking this one out narrowly 19-15.
This was an ugly game. The Rams started one first stringer on their defense, and Oakland looked pretty shoddy against it, which is just not saying a lot.
We knew that. We knew that. We knew that a couple of weeks ago. We said that the Raiders were going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean,
unreliable.
There was no cast, so I'm not going to hold it against them too much, but still, I didn't like any of the formations Gruden was running. It just looked like ugly football.
What are they running? Do you know what they're running?
It looked like a very college offense. It was super pass heavy. It was just running lots of curls, lots of inside slants, lots of just wheel routes and bubble screens. It wasn't pretty football.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. Down and gritty is the type of, and the Rams. I think even with, I think they got really good depth anyway.
Yeah.
The Rams.
Yeah,
so,
I think they should be one of the better teams.
Yeah. So there's not much to talk about that one. You said it was an ugly game.
Yeah, not much to say
So
about that.
yeah, let's move on to Bengals Cowboys with the Bengals taking that one out 21 points to 13.
Yeah, they did. It was an interesting game. I have worries about Dak. Um,
Yeah, it's Zeke's team, so
it is. I mean, and he didn't play. But I mean,
yeah, well,
look, he had a lot of good short passes. Again, they had no deep threat, so it means that like everyone can just play man, and you know you're not going to get beat down the field.
yeah, that's how you play against the Cowboys. You don't really need to do a zone coverage,
Yeah, you
right?
play 8 man, and you put eight. You
Yeah.
play man, and you put 8 in the box, and that's how you just run every single snap against the Cowboys. Um,
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're 0-2 as well. So um,
the Bengals worry
I don't
me. I don't like what I see at all on either side of the ball.
really.
They have no run game. The QB has no one to throw to. Their O line is mediocre at best. Their secondary was getting ripped to shreds for short yardages every time by the Broncos, by the Cowboys,
Yeah,
sorry, which is just yeah, that's not okay.
yeah. So again, these are. I don't think these two teams are gonna make a splash anyway.
Yeah,
Um, just I do. As I agree with you, I worry about Dak. Just it seems to me that it doesn't look like he's improving, but rather staying the same as him. And don't get me wrong, he's still a great quarterback.
yeah,
But when you lose offensive threats to throw to, like your receivers, like Des Bryant is a hurtful loss. Like they really, he's got no one else to throw to.
for
So
sure.
the whole offense is just give Zeke the ball and let him do his thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of
I think.
running.
Yeah, and then we move on to your game of the week that you picked,
Yep.
which was the Texans 49ers. And this one was really, really close with the Texans narrowing out 16 to 13.
Yeah, this was a really fun game to watch. There was a shootout at the start of the game between Watson and Garoppolo, who are my two of my favorite
Yeah,
QBs at the moment. Um,
Jimmy killed it.
they just went blow for blow. It was kind of like
Yeah.
watching Deshaun from last year when he went up against Brady, and he just went, "Anything you can do, I can do better,"
Uh,
and stood to him. Garoppolo looks
yeah,
so good.
he's going to be an MVP, Deshaun, in the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a
And
franchise QB for the Texans.
oh yeah, and you know the Texans are probably one of my favorite teams. I love watching the Texans just because of JJ Watt,
Yeah,
who you think is the most overrated player in the league. But let's not get into
we
that.
won't get into that, but yeah, there's
You
a
know,
lot of issues
yeah, I watched this game just before. Jimmy really impressed me. I think he's a franchise quarterback.
for sure.
Um, their receivers are really deadly as well. They got a good pair of hands. As you said, Deshaun is just a one of a kind quarterback, almost Tom Brady like.
It'll be very
So
interesting to see how these two teams stack up because I think both of these teams have a very good chance of winning their division. Um,
yeah, well we had the Texans winning the division, didn't we? In
I
our
did, yeah,
prediction.
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think I did, but I didn't have the 49ers. I think I had them third.
no, I think you had the 49ers winning and I had the Rams
Did
winning.
I?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
But
oh,
that'll be it'll be interesting to see because these could be two dark horses for the Super Bowl this year.
oh yeah, for sure. Especially 49ers have had a very bad couple of years. Obviously with the Colin Kaepernick thing.
They've got a pretty easy
You know,
schedule as well. It's not the hardest thing
yeah,
in
I
the
looked
world.
at who's their division play?
The West plays
The South.
nah. They play.
Yeah, sorry, I should have done this before.
That's alright. I should have done this as well.
Um,
I should know this.
no, not the South. It's the North.
Yeah, I think they play the North.
Yeah, it's the North. Greg knows all this anyway. Greg would
Yeah,
know this.
Greg would know it off the top of his head.
Yeah.
But
But unfortunately, he's not able to do the podcast tonight.
but yeah, so the 49ers have a very good chance of, being
Oh
a
yeah.
10-win team.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think, 10-win team is not, unachievable. I think it's a good goal to go for.
Yeah.
We move on to the next game, which was the Titan Buccaneers, and the Bucks took this one out 30 to 14.
They did, yeah. Early on, the Bucks defense got shredded by the Titans' first string team. Um,
Oh, okay.
it was it was an interesting watch. Fitzpatrick looks okay, and he's going to be their starting QB for the first month of this regular season.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, because of Winston's issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes for the Bucks, but I mean,
Oh no, they're coming last in their division.
yeah, I mean it's a hard division.
I think they're just rubbish.
Um,
So
yeah,
you
as far
know,
as the Titans go, I liked what I saw. The new coaching change looks like they've got a much more potent offense, and they've got Mariota playing in a system that he can actually succeed in. Um,
well, yeah. From what I saw, their new head coach was an offensive coordinator, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. I think I'm not too surprised with the result just because it's preseason and I'm not risking playing Mariota for very long. Just exactly what the Titans did. So
yeah. And Winston
um,
played for like the last 3 quarters of the game, and he's your first string QB. It's just that he can't play for the next month, so you might as well tot him out there for some
yeah,
reps.
just get a run out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
And this one, yeah, that I think the Bucks are just the Bucks. I think I can't really explain it better than the Bucks are the Bucks.
yeah, they're gonna be the
Uh,
next Cleveland. Like I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be the factory of sadness down there.
oh man, poor Tampa Bay. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to the closest game of the round of the week is the Broncos and the Bears, with the Bears just scraping past the Broncos, 24-23.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game. Mitch started out strong, and then he fumbled the
Yeah.
ball in the end zone to give them a safety at the start of the game. Um,
Uh,
but it came after some really good pressure. Chubb coming off that edge, so you put him with Von Miller at the start of the season, and they're going to be deadly. It's going to
oh,
be dangerous. Um, but yeah, like
yeah.
Trubisky had some good connections with Burden. Um,
I like Trubisky actually. I'm not gonna lie.
he's playing a lot better than I thought he was going to be. But
Yeah,
again,
he threw an intercept, but
I don't
it's
see
not
him
too
to be
bad.
much better than Donald, honestly, and Donald's a rookie, so
Okay, so
I think he was a bit of a miss, like going that high in the draft. But I mean, he's not a bust. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be serviceable. He's got some weapons
yeah,
around him,
well,
and they've got a better system this year. But the Broncos look good. I mean, it doesn't show up in the score, but Case Keenum played fine. They had some really good defensive picks. Um, yeah, I don't know much want to say about this game, but
yeah.
once you start getting down to the second and third stringers that take over in the second half,
There's
anything can
not much.
happen.
Yes, yeah. And then we move on to the final result because the Colts and Ravens don't play until 10 o'clock in the morning here in Australia tomorrow. So oh no,
On Tuesday,
Tuesday.
yeah.
Tuesday. My apologies. So the last result is the Chargers Seahawks, and unsurprisingly, the Chargers took this one out, 24-14.
Yeah, it was another one of those interesting games. Russell Wilson just does Russell Wilson things. I mean, I talk about him the same way I talk about Aaron Rodgers. Like, it doesn't matter what you've got on his team; he's gonna make throws.
Oh, for sure. And I think I think I put him in my top five, top ten quarterbacks
I'd say he's top
in the
five,
league.
but yeah,
Top five.
yeah.
We've got what?
I'd say
We've
like
got Brady. One,
Brady,
two, three.
yeah, Brady,
Brady,
Rodgers,
Rogers.
maybe
Okay.
Roethlisberger, Wentz, Wilson. Like he's in that echelon.
Yeah, which put. I think Goff's better than Wilson.
Fair enough. It's interesting.
I think. But I rate Goff highly.
Yeah, you do have a very high rating of Goff compared to everyone else.
Yeah, I actually love Goff. I believed in Goff after his rookie year. I was like, no way he's going to be a bust. Just got to give him the right pieces.
Yeah,
Got to give him the right coach, and they did, and he's succeeded. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So the Chargers, they're going to win their division anyway. We've discussed that.
yeah, I think
Um,
it's inevitable. But what was interesting is
they're
they
a good
couldn't
team.
get much pressure on Wilson, even with that very deteriorated Seattle O line. It's kind of
Yeah, but
worrying, but they didn't have Joey Bosa, and they didn't have, so I'm not gonna dock them points for that right now.
nah, I think looking at the team, they got some good pieces, and as you said, Bosa wasn't playing.
Yeah,
So I'm not. I was looking at the roster the other day actually, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said they're not the great team. They're not a great team. They're just in a really weak division.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're
they
the
are in a
Kansas City
very
of
weak
last
division.
year.
Yeah, they're in a very weak division. However, their team is not as bad as I made them out to be. I made them out to be like a Cleveland Browns, like 2016 Cleveland Browns
Oh, you're really
team, but
throwing
they're
some
not.
shade now.
Yeah, no, they're a decent team. So,
I mean, they were
um,
like what 4 field goals away last season from being in the playoffs. So
well, yeah, but yeah, but I just can't get past the fact that they're in such a weak division.
yeah, it does definitely give them
It
a bit of a
it is
boost.
a very very bad division.
It's like what the Steelers have had for the last like 5, 10 years.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. So yeah, that really wraps up this week's games. And then we'll just quickly go through our predictions just for the next week for the preseason because there are a lot of games to
There
go
are.
through.
Do we want to do the Colts Ravens as well since that doesn't play
Yeah,
until
yeah, why
Tuesday?
not? Why not? So, Kurt, who do you got? We'll do Colts Ravens.
I've got the Ravens. I just think that the Ravens are a
Yep.
bit more depth than the Colts. Like they're not going to trot out Andrew Luck and risk him getting injured again.
You reckon Flacco plays?
Oh no, I think they're starting Lamar the entire game. Just get him some
Okay.
reps. Um,
Okay.
maybe they bring out RG3, but I don't think so.
Knowing the Colts, they'll be just like, yeah, Andrew Luck's fine to play, gets injured.
Yeah, probably something like that. But I mean,
Yeah,
the Ravens could put 30 points on the Colts pretty easily with the second stringers. So
yeah, I've got the Ravens as well by a pretty big margin, just for the same reasons.
yeah,
I think the defense of the Colts is not where it needs to be a very overly competitive team, and the Ravens have some nice offensive weapons, have a decent O line, so yeah, the Ravens should win that one.
yeah, it should be interesting.
And then we go to my game of the week. It's the Cleveland Browns taking on your Philly Eagles.
Yes, it is, and it's going to be a very interesting game with the Philly Eagles being down 0-2.
Oh, for sure.
I think
Yeah,
the Eagles are going to be desperate for a win. They don't want to come out of this preseason 0-4, but I don't think they're going to push so many starters onto the front line. Maybe give Ajayi a couple runs, play Nick Foles for the entire game or something. But
that's not what you were saying before. You said you want the Eagles to go 0-4.
I want the Eagles to go 0-4 because I don't want them to start a single starter until week 1. But
and then
I know
you
it's not
run
going to
out
happen.
19-0.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the plan, right? Like that's the plan, Philly. We're gonna not start a single starter until week 1 of the regular season.
And just blow teams out of the water
Exactly.
straight away.
Exactly.
I don't know. I like the Browns. I don't know why.
I'll be
Just
interested to
because
see how Mayfield goes against the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get under his skin
Mm.
for sure. I think that the Eagles are just pests. So yeah, I've got the Browns just because I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. So yeah, Browns all the way. Then we go to an all New York clash, and the Jets taking on the Giants.
And this should be an interesting one. Who do you have going up here?
I I don't know if I think if they play Eli, I think the Giants might edge out winners.
Yep.
However, I don't. They didn't play Eli this week,
No, they didn't.
and they didn't. They played him
They
Did
played
they
him
play
for
him the first
4
week?
snaps on the first week.
4 snaps. Okay. Yeah, I think if Eli plays, I think they might get a win. They're not going to play Barkley, I don't think.
I don't think they will.
I don't think he proved himself in the first game. So, no.
I'll tell you which way I'm going. I'm going Jets, and I'm going
Yeah.
Jets by like a big margin. I think
Really?
the Jets are going to come out and be like, "Hey, you know how you passed on this kid, Sam Darnold? We're going to show you why you messed up." And they're going to go
They
out there.
got Barkley.
Exactly. It does. I'd say Darnold's a better pick.
Oh my God, Kurt.
I mean, both of these teams will need a QB of the future. Like that's just a fact. Eli does not have 10 years left in him.
Oh, this year's draft class is pretty quarterback strong as well.
It was.
So
But yeah, it'll be very interesting. I think that the Jets are going to go up there with a bit of passion and try and be like, yeah, look, you messed up not taking Donald.
just for that, I'm going for the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah. Listeners, this is the one and only time I'll ever support the Giants. Just saying here. And then we go on to the greatest team of all time, the Washington Redskins, taking on the Broncos. Kurt, who do you have winning and why?
Yeah, Broncos by like a big margin.
Oh, God damn it.
I like what I see from the Broncos.
Yeah,
I
I actually
think,
do as well.
yeah, I think if they trot out their first
Oh.
stringers, they could put 15 points on the Redskins in the first half, and then just let the second stringers run out the rest of the clock. But
No, I agree 100%. I think the Redskins are just, we're rebuilding.
and the loss of Geis really hurts you guys as well.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to say Alex Smith probably will start, play a couple snaps. We'll just run our second string oh, I don't want to say it. I'm going Broncos. I'm sorry, yeah.
I know it hurts to go
Red,
against your own team.
oh, not really. I do it all the time. But, it's just the Redskins. Just think of it. 2 years ago, we were playing the wild card, but we got smashed by the Packers. I think so. I just can't get over the fact that Alex Smith is our starting quarterback.
And he's getting
Like,
paid what, 40 million a year to do so?
oh, I don't think it's that big. I know it's big.
It's some stupid amount of money.
It's a lot of money. And he's got a lot of guaranteed as well.
Yeah.
He's guaranteed a lot of money. Anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna dwell. Probably have nightmares anyway about it.
Yeah, that
Then we
moves
got
us on to the Panthers v Patriots.
Yeah, this is a tough one. If Newton switched on and McCaffrey does his thing, I think the Panthers can win. However, we're talking about the Patriots. So I'm gonna go Pat. I'm gonna go Pats.
I'm gonna go
Not by
Pats
a lot.
too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say they're gonna blow the Panthers out, but I think it'll be a good win.
Yeah, I think this could be a pretty low scoring affair. Maybe 20 points each team. Pats maybe just edging it out. But yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, both teams have a pretty good run offense, and both teams have a pretty decent defense. So it should be interesting to see how these teams get along.
Yeah, and then we go on to the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Kurt, who do you have winning and why?
The Minnesota Vikings because the Seahawks. There's not really too much more to say there. The Seahawks are in a rebuild, and I just feel so sorry for like Russell Wilson, who's gonna have to waste the next 2 or 3 years of his career in a rebuild team.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota, just because of what you said. Everything above is just the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. It's showing in the preseason. So yeah, the Vikings I think are going to probably win by a lot. So yeah, we'll move on to the Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Detroit Lions.
I think I know who you're going for in this round because I think I know who I'm going for, and it's going to be the Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford will get the job done in the first, quarter. Unless they bring out Winston for like the entire game again, which they might do.
Well, you can't take anything from the Bucks. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Winston might come out and throw 16 picks. I mean, it could happen. It's the Bucks.
Yeah, well, I'm going with the Lions just because I'm a big Detroit fan.
Yeah, it's your boy Matt Stafford.
But yeah, dude, I love Matt Stafford just as much. No, even more than I love Jared Goff. Goff is good, but Stafford, I think, put him in on a good team, and people will be saying like stuff like what they say about Tom Brady. He's not Tom Brady, but he's in a really high caliber. He's in a high tier. He's a high tier quarterback. So
For sure.
yeah, so I'm going with the Lions just because the Bucks suck.
Speaking about teams that could be absolute train wrecks this year, we've got the Raiders going to Green Bay.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So Green
The
Bay put
Packers-
51. Oh, what was it? 51 points on the Steelers. Do you think this might set a record for the most points scored in a preseason game?
I'm hear it now. I think the Packers are going to score 70 points.
Holy hell, it's a Madden score.
70 points on the Raiders. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers.
Look, I don't think you're
It's
far
just
off.
not-
I think, you're looking at a game where the Packers could easily put 60 points on the Raiders.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
yeah, it really depends like who turns up to play. Like Green Bay might not even elect to start a single starter. It could
No,
just
but
be
they
one of
will
those
'cause it's,
games.
it's Green Bay. They're going to.
Yeah,
We're talking about Green Bay. Yeah. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna play. I don't care what you say. I'm playing.
that's true.
So, I think I don't. A better thing to say is we already know the Packers are going to win. The better question is asked: do you think the Raiders are going to score?
I think the Raiders will score. I think that's inevitable, especially in like preseason where you try out your third stringers at the end of the game just to avoid
Yeah,
injury.
I don't. I don't think they'll score.
You think they'll get shut out
I think they.
70-0?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
You've heard it first here on the trap. Chance Porteous 2K18. The Raiders are going to lose 70-0 to the Packers.
Well, we'll definitely keep you to that one.
Oh my god. The Raiders come out and win.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
embarrassing.
dude. Anyway, then we go to the Chicago Bears taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay.
I mean, this is going to be a really interesting game to watch. Maybe not necessarily a pretty game of football, but Mahomes and Trubisky, like I said earlier, they remind me of each other. They look very similar talent-wise, so I'll definitely be watching this one, just have a gaze at what the QBs look like. But at the end of the day, I think the Bears might just edge this one out.
Yeah, I agree. I think Trubisky is. I think he's going to run away with this one. I think he's going to have a breakout game, just because he's got a couple games under his belt. He's got looking back at the highlights, it looks like he's gotten the freedom as well.
Yeah,
to throw.
For sure.
He's been given the green light to do what he does best. So again, I think the Bears. I think they could be. They've never always been a bad team. They've always been mediocre, and I think it's just going to show here. I think they're more mediocre than the Chiefs.
I'd agree with that statement.
So yeah, I'm going to say the Bears will probably narrowly win it. So yeah, and then we go on to I'm picking as game of the week, and that's the Rams taking on the Texans.
I feel, this game could be one of two things. It could be the Rams decide that this is a Super Bowl or bust year and not start anyone again.
Yeah.
And then the Texans just, throw 40 points on the board and then decide to just sit out everyone as well. And then you just have fourth stringers running at each other for the 30 minutes. Or they could decide to start their team, and then this could be an amazing shootout.
I think it's week 4. I think week 4 would be the week where you play your starters.
Yeah.
So they get, week 5 they get the rest before the start of the season. So I think they might. Yeah, I don't know. I think I picked this game as game of the week just because it's going to be such an unpredictable game. As you said, it depends who rocks up on the day. But just because I like the Rams and I like the Texans, I'm gonna go for a draw.
Okay.
Because I like both teams.
Fair enough.
I really can't pick. I can't really pick a winner right now with certainty. So I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a draw.
Yeah, and the next game up on the chopping block is the Steelers at Titans.
Yeah. Both teams are looking all right during the preseason. Just from this week, I think the Titans are going to do the exact same thing that they did this week. Mariota's not going to play a lot. They're not going to play their first string defensive lineman or their O-line, I don't think. So I'm going to pick the Steelers just because they dropped like 34 on the Packers.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go for the exact same reasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think as far as depth goes, they just will be able to take an absolute dump on the Titans.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there's not much to talk about that one. We got the Colts 49ers again. I think we both know who we're going to pick here.
I think we both know where we're going. I think we're both, part of the church of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, really? I was going to go Colts. No, just joking. No, yeah, the 49ers, Jimmy the GOAT. That's what we call. That's the nickname around the staff anyway. What we call him here.
A little bit of Garoppolo.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to throw well. Like, I think he's one of those quarterbacks now that we can just rely that he's going to give you a really good game. I don't think he's got a bad game in his body.
It'll be very interesting to see if he does stumble at all this season.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think he's going to be. I don't know. He'll be a top 3 quarterback at the end of the season.
I think he could definitely be in the MVP running.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about it now. Tom Brady will be probably the best quarterback.
Yep.
Just because it's Tom Brady. Then I'm gonna say Carson Wentz. I think. Yeah, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, Deshaun,
And then
A-Rod,
Deshaun, A-Rod,
Jimmy. It's
and
between
Jimmy.
those 5, yeah.
And then Jimmy. Yeah, I think he'll be 5th. I think he's sitting at 5 at the moment. So, yeah, I'm going for the 49ers. Just feels so bad for the Colts. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'll move on to the Dolphins, Ravens. I think there's another clear-cut winner in this one.
I think the Ravens are going to run away with this one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Please, Ravens, please play Flacco. I want to see my boy. I'm a big quarterback guy, and Flacco, he's a legend. Super Bowl winner.
But yeah, I'm loving watching these rookie QBs have a good run at it. Lamar has impressed me from what I thought he was going to be, but I think he's still got a lot of development to go. So I'm glad.
You didn't rate him highly though.
No, I thought he was a second rounder at most. And after watching his games, I thought he was okay. Nothing stand out though. But
still think he's a second rounder.
Yeah, I think he's progressing nicely. Personally, I think a lot of the QBs in this year's draft were overdrafted.
Okay, yeah, I do remember you saying that. So,
but yeah, I think he's good. He's going to be definitely their future. And I like the fact that RG3 is their bridge, who has a very similar play style to him.
He would have been so good if he wasn't injured, RG3.
Yeah.
Fun fact of the day, he was drafted over Kirk Cousins. Just thought I should let you know that.
Yeah, he
was drafted. It was a 3rd pick or 2nd pick or something, and then you had Kirk was in the 3rd, I think. Or in 2nd? No, I don't know, 3rd or 4th. I don't care. All I know is he was high. He was drafted higher than Griffin, and then he had a spat when Kirk got the starting job over him. So, and they got injured.
Yeah.
And then the rest, is everyone knows, injury after injury.
But yeah,
so yeah,
the last couple of games, Jaguars at Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going Jags.
Yeah, the Dirty Birds are fun, but I think Jacksonville are just going to start showing up.
Yeah.
Again.
Just because Jaguars will eat Falcons in real life.
Yeah, again, it comes down to Bortles. If Bortles decides that he wants to play football, then they'll play well. If not, Matty Ryan and that's starting wide receiver.
I think Matt Ryan is probably the most overrated quarterback.
He's definitely the most overpaid. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Oh, Alex Smith is pretty overpaid.
He's pretty overpaid as well. Yeah.
Stop. Stop.
Well, to cause you less harm, let's go on to the Chargers and Saints. This is actually probably going to be my game of the week, depending on who starts. If we see a lot of the first stringers, I think this will be one of the closer games, one of the lowest scoring games, maybe 21-18. But yeah, I could definitely see this game going either way. But I will pick the Saints.
Saints, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Just because, I don't want to be saying the same team as you every week.
Fair enough.
So, I'm going to be that's my chances, outside chances this week. The Chargers. No, I'm just joking.
But yeah, Bills at Bengals. I mean, I think this is another clear-cut one.
Really?
Are you
going to say Bills?
I'm definitely going to say Bills.
Okay. I was worried. I was like, oh no, maybe you're going to say Bengals.
No.
Nah, I think the Bills. I actually like the Bills.
Yeah.
I like Buffalo a lot, actually. I like their roster. I like their coaching staff. They just came off a playoff, a wild card.
Yeah, wild card berth. Not quite a win, but at least they made it back there.
No, I think I think from now on they're going to be playing for that wild card spot. So yeah, I'm going Bills. Just as you said earlier, the Bengals. You're not 100% certain on. I'm not 100% certain on them either. So
yeah, if my phone going over Allen wasn't clear, I do like this Bills roster, and I think they could definitely secure another playoff berth.
Oh, for sure. And then now, game of the week, uh, Cowboys cards.
Yeah, again, this could go either way depending on who turns up. I like the
Mm,
Cards' chance of just snatching this
yep.
when they put Rose in it against the, Dallas second string.
Yeah, I'm going for the cards just because I know they're going to run a lineup of Bradford will start, and then Rose will come off, and then their third string. Let's not worry about his name. So again, the Cowboys. I think they'll be the most in trouble this season. I think the Cowboys. Um, just by looking at the roster, they have no weapons. Their D line. Do you think it got any better? I don't think it got any better.
I don't think
Um,
their D line got any better. I think they were trying to patch issues that they had. They were like, oh yeah, we need a linebacker. Let's draft one of those. And then they overpaid for him. And then they
yeah.
were like, hey, we still need a tight end. And then don't draft one. It's like, okay, guys, come on, what are you doing?
Again, Greg here, Greg at the trap is the biggest defensive nut. So he'll know anything. We'll put something on our Facebook page that you guys can read with Greg to write about it. So yeah. I'm not 100% keen on the Cowboys. Neither I'm not 100% keen on the Cardinals anyway, but I think they're a better team. So I'm gonna go with Cards. I think.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up pretty well there. I think as long as the Cards are healthy, they're going to be a better team than the Cowboys this year. Especially with
Oh,
that
for sure.
second
Yeah.
string. It's going to be pretty embarrassing once it gets to that third quarter if the Cards are already up, and then the Cowboys are just not going to be able to stop them.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I think. I'm just trying to think. Is there any way the Cowboys could win this game?
If they start Elliott,
Yeah, but I don't think Elliott will play.
yeah, I don't think so either. But if they start him, he's going to run through and get 90 yards
Yeah,
on 2 carries.
I'm just trying to think. I don't. Nah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm going Cards. I'm not. I'm sticking to my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, sweet. So that just wraps it up.
that brings us to the end of our predictions.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back next week to recap those games and have a
Yeah.
look at preseason week 5. That'll lead us into the regular season.
Yeah. Sorry, we had to cut this short. I'm just.
Yes,
Yeah. Next week I'll be 100%.
hopefully we'll have the entire trap crew in here next week. Until then, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.